Okay, so now we're going to have a look at question number 2. And it says the angles A, B, C and D are such that the sum of A and B is equal to a right angle. Now, if we look closely, we can see that A and B, in fact, is a right angle. So we know that A and B together equal 90 degrees. Now it's saying it's also saying that angle C and angle D are 4 parts. So C is 4 parts and D is 5 parts. So I'm just writing that down like that so it's nice and clear for me. And then it's saying if angle A equals X, right angle B in terms of X. So we're going to look at this again, and X is just literally being used for an unknown number. So that's algebra, when we replace an unknown number with a letter. So A equals X. At this stage, we don't know what angle A equals. However, we know that A and B together equal 90. Okay, and we also know that C and D are 4 parts to 5 parts, which makes up 9 parts. Okay, so from what we do know, using our knowledge of angles, we know that all the angles in that circle are going to total 360 degrees. And so far we know that A and B equal 90. So we can take away 90 degrees, which will find out what we need to split the remainder that we are left with into 9 parts. So 90 from 360 will leave us with 270 degrees. Okay, now that we know that, that's what we're trying to find out, we're going to divide 270 by 9 parts. Okay, now hopefully your times tables might help you with this, and you might automatically think, oh, I know 9 into 27 goes 3, so I know that 9 into 270 is going to equal 30 degrees. So each part is 30 degrees. Okay, now we know that C is 4, so we know that it's got to be 4 times 30 will give us the answer to what C is. So I'll just put here C equals 4 times 30, and D, you've guessed it, is going to be 5 times 30. Okay, again, using our times table knowledge, it should be nice and straightforward to do 4 times 30. I'll just give you a second to do that. And also D, 5 times 30. So hopefully you came up with 120 degrees and also 150 degrees. Okay, so we're doing well so far. We have found out what most of our angles equal. So we've answered, oh, we haven't answered what A equals. So let's go back now, knowing what we know. And we know the value of C and we know the value of D. And we also know that the value of A and B total 90. Now, also another rule that we need to remember is that angles on a straight line add up to 180. So if we know that D is 150, that therefore means that we could take that away from 180, and that will leave us with, so I'll just put my degree signs in there, that will leave me with 30 degrees. So I know that angle A equals 30 degrees. Now let's look back at our diagram. Does our answer make sense? Yes, it does. We can see that A is indeed an acute angle, so that would be correct. Now, the only one that we have left to find now is B. But if we know that angles A and D are on a line, then we also know that B and C are on a line. So we know that the angle C was 120 degrees. So in order to work out, so we're going to take 120 away from 180, and that's going to tell us that the value of B is 60 degrees. And let's have a look at that and see if that makes sense. Yes, I would say that B is actually looking at that double value A, and we know that A is 30. Now, in order to check that, we can add up all of our answers that we've got. So if we start with angle A, we've got 30 degrees. Then we've got angle B, which we worked out was 60 degrees. Then we've got angle C, 120. and D 150. Just going to test you now. What do we know the angles in a circle add up to? Hopefully that's given you enough time to work out that indeed they add up to 360. So that is the answer that we're looking for. Okay, so over here we're going to add that up. So if we add up 6 and 3 is 9, plus 2, 11, plus 5 is going to give us 16 and giving us 360. Apologies, I've lost, oh no, I found my ruler, but I'm unable to hold the phone and film, but I have got my ruler. So do use a ruler and keep your work nice and neat. So that is the answer to number 2 of guided practice. Now, I'm only going to help out with the first one of our workbook, because hopefully now you're getting more of an idea of what you need to do. Okay, so let's have a look at this one that we've got here for us. Okay, so we have got the ratio of the value of angle A is 2 to 1. So we need to find all of these angles, A, B and C. So let's have a go at doing that now. Excuse my camera work. Okay, so again, if you look carefully, you can see that A and another angle are on a line, and all together they meet at a point, and all those angles together will equal 360. So we have got a ratio once again, which is going to help us to solve this. And our ratio is A and B. So I'm just going to write down A and I'm going to write down B. And above A, I'm going to write 2 parts and I'm going to write down 1 above B. Okay, so we can see there that altogether we have a total of 3 parts. Okay, and we know that angles on a line equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to use that information, 180, and I'm going to divide it by 3 to work out what my 1 part equals. Okay, I'll just let you spend a little bit of time to do that. And hopefully, using your fantastic times table knowledge, you came up with the answer 60 degrees. So we know that 1 part is 60 degrees, which is fantastic. Okay, now we know, don't we, from previous questions we've done, we know that to work out what A equals, we have to do 2 lots of 60, which is going to give us 120 degrees. So we know that angle A is 120 degrees. Always worth looking back at your diagram. Yes, we can see that A is an obtuse angle, it's greater than 90 degrees, so that measurement of the angle being 120 would make sense. Okay, so we need to also find B. Now, thinking back to knowing that angles on a line add up to 180, in order to work out, oh, sorry, it's an unknown angle, I was going to say. Here, we could actually work out what that angle would be, because we could simply take 120 away from 180, leaving us with 60. So we know the unknown angle there would be 60. If it helps, you can just write that on there. If you could actually write it on the diagram so you can see the angles that you've found. Okay, now the next part that we need to do is we need to work out C, and we need to work out, we've worked out C, yes, so we're going to work out B. So how are we going to do that? Well, we know that 1 part is 60, and we know that the ratio is 1. So we know that B actually is already 60 degrees. Okay, so we could write 60 here, sorry. And so we've just got C to find. Now looking at this, and what we learned yesterday in yesterday's lesson, that opposite angles that meet on a line can be equal. So we can see that 120 there would make sense. And if we add all of this together, it should total 360. So 60 plus 60 is 120. And if we add that to the other 120 and the other 120, we do indeed get 360 degrees, so that we know we're correct. Right, well, I hope that has helped, and I'm going to leave you to have a go at the other ones. And any problems, just let me know on Google Classroom. well done. Lots of brilliant mathematics going on today and lots of hard brain work going on. So well done to all of you. Bye.